Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Canada seems to be a land of plenty, wealth, and although the size is huge with a small population comparatively, maybe 2.5 times the population of Delhi. And this dream of the millions of the people across the world is having a major problem. And that problem reminds me of that poem which ends as ill fares the land where hastening kills a prey, where wealth accumulates and men decay. And Canada is a classical example of that, where wealth accumulation is there, but the human beings are decaying. And that is because of the wrong policies as well as the wrong vision. And I am referring here to two issues, both alike, because the base of both the issues is only one, and that's a drug issue, drug problem. The drug problem in Canada is assuming dangerous proportions. And yet, the government, either at the provincial level or at the federal level, doesn't seem to be inclined to act. They fail to understand and comprehend how that's going to impact the country's future, where human beings are being turned into ruffians, useless parasites, and dangerous assassins. The drugs gave birth to prostitution, to gun culture, and to all the crime that is possible. And that happened because 4 years back, Canada legalized cannabis. That this decriminalization of drugs has created fatal problems for the country. Though it was done 4 years back, starting January 31, 2023, the Canadian province of British Columbia will decriminalize still further. It will decriminalize small amounts of illicit drugs for 3 years, and that has been announced. You will be allowed to possess 2.5 grams of opiate, cocaine, methamphetamine, and MDMA, and there will be no criminal charges for that. Am I dreaming? Or am I living a life of nightmare? This exemption is not legalization. They say the drug remains illegal, but adults who have 2.5 grams or less for personal use will no longer be charged, will not be arrested, their drugs will not be seized. Rather, the police will offer them information on available health and social support. Does that help? No. This pilot program for the permanent decriminalization and safe supplies of the hard drugs is horrible. And I was further shocked when the Prime Minister Trudeau mentioned that he is willing to suspend possession charges all over Canada. The focus of this exemption is Vancouver, which is being taken as a test case. And already the city faces a massive crisis in drug, prostitution, crime, homelessness. I was looking at the statistics, and the BC coroners, they report 722 overdose deaths from hard drugs such as heroin, cocaine, meth, fentanyl, and that happened only in a period of 1/4 of this year, from January to April 2022. 722 people died because of death. And the CTV News says that this is the leading cause of unnatural deaths in the province. And yet, the government is legalizing it. Now imagine a family of five people, and each member is supposed to have 2.5 grams. The total 2.5 gram into 5 is 12.5. Is that desirable? If one person takes all of that, he's gone. And many people have died from opioid overdose in British Columbia. As a matter of fact, more people died of opioid overdose than from COVID-19. And the province declared a medical health emergency in 2016 from the opioid crisis. And the COVID lockdown made the situation worse. In a presentation to the Vancouver City Council, the medical doctor said that the overdose crisis killed 3,000 people in British Columbia in 1 year, 2020. And at the same time, the number of the deaths from the COVID was 1,800. So 1,800 from COVID, 3,000 from opiate. And people are going crazy about the safety precautions for coronavirus. Now, let's be very clear. The governments all over the world have been struggling with the drug problem. And the main countries are, of course, which are exporting drugs, Afghanistan, Latin America, and others. And many Western countries look to solve the problem by legalizing hard drugs, providing safe injection sites. But the fastest moving jurisdiction to decriminalize drugs is this dreamland, this utopia called Canada. It was 2018, as I said 4 years back, which started the downfall. Canada legalized marijuana. This was framed to be a way to stop the black market and give people supply of recreational drugs that put Canada on a path to become a permanent addicted nation. So, quite possible, this nation might be number one as the most addicted nation in the world. What a pride for the government and for the people. When marijuana became legal on October 17, 2018, we could see long lines of the people waiting to enter the legal pot shops for the first time. And it was seen across the country. And then private pot shops appeared in every neighborhood. And you could drive through urban centers. There was a Tim Horton at every corner and a pot shop beside it. Come April 2022, there were 3,162 legal marijuana stores in Canada, another 1,975 pending licenses approval. So 3,162 plus 2,000 was about 6,000 marijuana stores for a population of 35 million. And out of them, 1,500 are only in Ontario. And in anticipation of this legalization, an Ontario college created a cannabis 8-month course, how to grow marijuana. The cost of the course is $10,000. And the course is called Cannabis 101. It's an 8-month course. Now look at it. You are teaching people to do something which is going to destroy the nation. And the Bloomberg very clearly states that the Canadians have legally purchased $11 billion worth of cannabis since 2018. So in 4 years, $11 billion. And look at the national debt. Could the national debt not have been paid with this? A poll conducted by the government found that 26.2% of the Canadians use marijuana 5 days a week. One quarter of the country gets high at least once a day. New Brunswick has the highest daily usage, and 42.2% residents use 5 days a week. Work days used to be 5 day work. Now it's a 5 day drug. What an achievement. 15% of the Canadians use cannabis at least once a year. And not only the senior, the young people between the age of 19 and 24 are the most likely users, and 33% use it once every 3 months. Imagination staggers. The widespread use is increasing since 2018, and the data shows that the charges for the drug impaired driving in this period increased by 43%. So not the direct deaths, but the indirect deaths because of the more percentage because of the impaired driving, and that's because of the drug use. It also caused labor disputes where employers can fire an employee for using marijuana, and that included operating railways and police force. Imagine police officers, rail drivers using marijuana and being in a state of intoxication, what harm they can do. But then who cares? Because marijuana is a big business for the government. And Deloitte reports that the Canadian government has gained $15 billion in taxes and has injected $43 billion into Canadian economy. So $19 billion, $15 billion, $43 billion. Total comes to about $100 billion, which has been wasted to make the country's people addicted. Some of the cannabis stores are government run, others are privately owned. But the main thing is the increasing revenues and increasing black market, which has undercut prices and moved online. So online black market drug dealers sell more marijuana pound for pound than the licensed distributors. Now look at the health issue. I mean, apart these are the direct effects. Look at the indirect effect. Lung and breathing problems increase, the risk of addiction and memory loss, depression, mental illness. Less than 2 years after legalization, Canada was hit by COVID-19. Lockdown, increased use of cannabis, and also depression. Additional pressure of inflation. We know that. So Canada is going to suffer not only for opiate problem but a mental health crisis. And as time goes on, the situation will worse. Now, marijuana is rightly called gateway drug because it leads to the hard drug use. The worst drug crisis today is undoubtedly the misuse and overdose of marijuana. In 2021, just last year, 7,600 Canadians died from toxicity. That means 21 people died every day because of these opioids. There were 6,000 opioid hospitalizations in 2021. There were 41,800 emergency medical service responses. And these statistics include people who are using prescribed opiates and illegal drugs. So as the drug users normalize, it's having an impact on the criminal law. In May, the Supreme Court restored the acquittal of an Alberta man who attacked a woman while in state of intoxication. So Supreme Court said very clearly that he had no control in his mind and his actions, so he is not guilty. So, hey, ladies and kids, be careful. you might be the worst victim. This guy had used alcohol and magic mushroom at the party in Calgary. He lost his grip on reality, attacked a woman in a home nearby, not his home. He just gate crashed into a home. The woman suffered permanent injuries. But this man is going free. And the Supreme Court ruled very clearly that Section 33 of the Criminalization Code did not allow a man to be charged for crime if he is in a state of intoxication. The government passed Bill C-28 in order to challenge and change the language of this Section 33.1. But is it helpful? No. So why is this left-leaning government embracing legalizing drugs? Having a population that is addicted, which is incompetent, which is complacent, which is a nation of lotus eaters, a nation of the broken families, impoverished people. Now what will happen? This will fulfill the leftist agenda of transforming Canada. It's a political thing. Minds are enslaved to the drugs and they can be maneuvered, manipulated. So it's a permanency of the government. So the other parties don't come. We have in Canada developed a drug culture. Drugs are increasingly mainstream and popular. They are moving well past the pockets within the big cities. They are taking over the lives of all income, all walks of life. And our entertainment is more and more obsessed with drugs. And you can see all your entertainers, practically majority of them suffer from severe addiction. So is that freedom? How many of these people have gotten hooks on the drugs and cannot stop? And even the low level of drug can do irreparable damage to the minds. Many people would then consider to be free to destroy their life. That's not freedom. People have become enslaved to the drugs. Drugs, legalized drugs, are framed as a way for the people to escape. But really it's leading them to lead a life of slavery. And it's being perpetualized by the government policies. It is perpetuating mental slavery and also financial slavery. It attacks the ability of the individual to have a relationship with fellow human beings and with nature. Drugs please the senses, offer immediate gratification, temporary relief from pain and reality, but they never solve the problem. They never fix the issues. Let the government, if they are really careful, wake up. Wake up from this narrow approach, understand the reality, enable people to live a healthy life, and which will also strengthen the economy. But would the government listen? It's for you to make the government listen. Wake up. Lest your future generations are just automatons, drug addicts, criminals. Thank you.